I'm on the GRZY. 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 Yeah. I'm on the GRZY. I'm on the GRZY. I'm on the GRZY.
What's up? What is going on? All right, this is day 2 of the daily. Well, I've been doing it daily for a minute, but whatever. You know what it is. It's the GRZY. Today, we'll kick it real quick. Sunday, the 14th. Today's episode is sponsored by PodIQ. I might be biased. I'm the founder, but it's dope. As well as a secondary sponsor, Network.AI. Network.AI has got solutions for your business. So if you got everything from customer service workflows to automation needs, microsites, emails, social media, on and on and on. You get the point. Network.AI creates all those solutions for all of those things. So anyway, you got a business, you're on your grind, you want to take it next level, you need to check out Network.AI. And it's network, like W-U-R-K, network. Anyway, wow. What's going on anyway today? I got a couple of things going on. First, I set it up so we'll talk about the news. Boom. And so the Knicks win. The Knicks win. The Knicks took it. 53 years. They say this guy, I forget the guy's name. Forgive me. But this guy who's part of the winning team, he's supposed to be the best Knick in history. I guess you just gotta say, you say fuck Patrick Ewing, right? Just no Patrick Ewing, but whatever. Good for them. They won a game. Nice. Anyway, meantime, the world is at war. So you've got these new ingrained wars. We've got the Ukraine and we've got Iran, where the world is lining up. Forget about the secondary wars. We're not even talking about Sudan and all those secondary wars. Forget about Congo and Burkina Faso and all those places and the Ebola. Forget about that. We got a couple of ingrained wars. I won't call them forever wars, but they're long-standing and they're not going away anywhere. Ukraine's not backing down. Iran's not backing down. And the big guys, they think everybody should just bow down. But whatever. Meanwhile, I'll take this a little bit out of order. Look at your Googles. There's a G7 meeting this week. Germany, Japan. They're meeting up at the G7 this week on the part 2. Read your history books and see what happened the last time Germany and Japan teamed up. Crazy times. But anyway, enough about that. What really we want to talk about is UFC fights at the White House. Now, I thought it was just like a little thing, a little nonsense. Maybe they put up a little match, a boxing ring. No, bro, they got this big cave thing. They call it the Curve. It's giant. So, in case you didn't think this all is a big distraction, let's fucking crank out UFC. In the meantime, last but not least in news today, we'll call it Mickey brings the news today. Anthropic continues to fight the man. Now, I'm a big Anthropic fan, but I recall just watching the guy, the CEO of Anthropic. He said just maybe a week ago hey, the US should not sell chips to China because of national security. Point taken. Now the administration is saying the same thing to him. Right? These new models, Fable and all those things. Don't give those to the enemies, okay? And now he's got problems. Anyway, speaking of AI, today's episode, we're talking about AI. AI for business, not for, what am I into? I'm into AI for business. I'm a businessman. I use it for music, that's cool. I use it for voice and all those things, but I use it specifically for business. And today what we're going to talk about is the infrastructure. I'll give you some tips on the AI infrastructure and the 4 points of that infrastructure that I use to successfully put my businesses on an AI platform. I've been working in AI for a lot. I know you just know me, the silly bang bang guy. I like to bang bang. But all those things aside, I've been working with enterprise level platforms for the last 20 years. On what really makes operations work for businesses. Mostly in a media technology and communications area. I worked with clients like Johnson & Johnson and lots of big fancy pharma names that'll probably be kind of scary. But also I worked with IBM on specifically AI integration. At that time it was in the we were integrating AI in the blockchain on some weird, crazy futuristic stuff. All that to say is my big focus is business operations and AI from a logistics perspective. All that said, I'm going to give you the 4 pillars that I've used for my businesses, my clients' businesses, how I make their businesses work using AI, in 4 points. With that, we're going to break for a message from our sponsor. Boom. Or maybe you know what? Maybe you know what. We'll save the sponsors for later. I'll tell you exactly. Let's get into it. So, I use these 4 pillars to really put all of my businesses on rails when it comes to AI. You want to know what those 4 pillars are? Let's get into it. This is the GRZY. All right. 4 pillars. The 4. So we'll run through the 4. These are the 4. I'll hold them up so you can see. Then I have to take it back so I can see. The 4, information library. So everything about your brand, your category, your team, all those things. Think about it as a library of information that you have to have in one place so somebody can see it. The way the library is, like, hey, all the information that you would want to know about whatever right here. You go to the library. With AI, you need a library. Someplace where your agents, your intelligent models can go and then look up all of the things, but we'll dig deeper into that. Number 2 is a live database. Like, this might be big boy stuff, whatever. We'll talk about the tools and really how it works, but you got to be thinking about what is your database of live operational data. Cloud data. Let's think about it as your cloud data. Your intelligence model. So your LLM, what LLM you're using, and how are you using it. Really, you should be using it via API. This might be advanced, but this is where we're going. And then lastly, you need an action agent. And then so I'll just dig into it. So those 4 things: an information library, live database, intelligence model, and an action agent. All right, we'll dig deep into each and get into it. Boom. Information library. What is that? it's where all your information lives, so you can have access to all of your process information, your corporate information, your historic data, your industry knowledge. So what's happening, whether it is like if you work in pharma or you work in healthcare or childcare or whatever, the information, where does it live? Let's jump into the tools. So usually that information is going to live 1 of 3 places. It's going to live, and let's keep it real simple. For me, I usually keep this in our corporate website, so it's available in one domain for AIs to reference, all in one website. I also use Notion as a repository for notes, and then I'll use my Google Docs and Google Drive, giving our AI agents access to each of those things, so those things are present and referable, and the AI can go learn and, have a singular place where truth lives. So we're jumping ahead, and we're getting into the second one, which is you need a live database. What do I mean by that? So all the data that's produced by your financial transactions, your customer service, your subscriptions, all your operations, logistics, your orders, all the live data that is happening when a client orders something, when the client pays for something, when something is delivered. If you're a real business, you'll be tracking that somewhere, and that usually is a database. Some examples that might put it in perspective for you are 2 things. So first, your financial hub, whether it be your Stripe or your Square account, whomever your financial processor is. A lot of times there'll be APIs that are available from your bank or financial processor. You'll hook those into your AI platform, so your platform has access to it. Then the second source of truth is your CRM system. So we use Network.AI, but some people use HubSpot, some people use whatever. What is the communications platform that's managing your emails? Maybe even if you're really advanced, your phone calls and all those things. What sort of data platform is that? So your AI has access to it. Anyway, the third, and this is the one people are going to be super familiar with, is what intelligence model you're using. And really that's at a basic level, your LLM, your ChatGPT, your Claude, your Perplexity. We did a couple of executions where people just have a locally hosted model. There's LLMs, you can put it on a computer, and it never touches the internet. So if you're worried about security, you're worried about sharing your stuff with AWS or whomever, you can have it all locally hosted and make decisions on your local host. What does that mean? That's the real intelligence. That's the reasoning behind it. That's, that's the thing that's pulling upon all the data resources, information, knowledge, and really kind of churning it through. That's the brain, so to speak. So you train the brain, give it its resources, and it does its thing. And then on the other side of doing its thing is the agent. So the agent is the task, 2 things, task execution, but also human interface or human integration piece. So some examples of agents, the 2 real agents out here are, let me try and focus that for you. Claude is like your number 1 with a bullet agent. And then there's OpenClaw, which kind of started the whole thing. But either one of those 2 things, they use all of these other pieces as connectors. They'll connect to your calendar. They'll connect to your Slack channels. They'll connect to all of the things and really be able to execute on the inputs and outputs. So that's quickly in a rundown what it's about. What do we got here? Quick word from our sponsor, 11 Labs. 11 Labs. Oh, maybe it's upside down. 11 Labs is pretty dope. I've been using 11 Labs probably for about a year now. This isn't even like promo. I'm just sharing. And most often when I've been able to stay consistent with a podcast, it's because I'm using 11 Labs. It allows me to have access to a lot of voiceovers and really cool stuff. Really quick plug again, PodIQ. We integrate PodIQ. We integrate 11 Labs into PodIQ. So if you do your script, you can produce your voiceover right in PodIQ using 11 Labs as an integration. I personally have my voice programmed in the 11 Labs. If you can find it, maybe if you want to use my voice, you could use Miky Black in 11 Labs if you can find it. Just don't make me say anything funny. But yeah, I think all of these things, and I know it's a lot. AI is coming real fast. Most people think about it putting them out of business. I don't think that's the right way to look at it. Listen, everybody's going to go out of business sometime, or every job, every role, every function is going to get innovated out of. There once was a man in the elevator who cranked a crank so you could go to floor. If every elevator in the world had a man who had to crank it, that wouldn't be feasible. So everything you know now of like, oh, I do these TPS reports by hand. One day the AI is just going to do the TPS reports. And that's the way it is. I think what makes it such a great opportunity is whatever your business is, you now have like nuclear strength. But I think it takes, well, conversely, those are the four pillars. These are the four things that it takes is ambition. And listen, to make it within AI, I feel like it's actually no different than how to make it in life. Let's rock through these things. Ambition. You gotta wanna go get it and be willing to go get it. And after you're willing to go get it, you gotta get up and go get it. Knowledge. You have to be a scholar, whether you like it or not. And I'm not even a proponent of school. I don't like school. I wouldn't go back to school for anything. When I say a scholar, meaning just the systems, the infrastructure, the technologies, the laws, the corporate activities, all of these things that are happening around you that are shaping your world, you have to be informed of and you have to be on top of. So, a scholar in a real world sense. So, ambition, scholar. Unfortunately, capital. All of these things take capital. What you know and you want to, sometimes you gotta pay up. And then you gotta have a stomach for the risk. Change requires risk. Progress requires risk. So, it takes a certain type of stomach. But as you get in further and further it becomes less risky as you increase your knowledge and you increase your capital, mitigate risk. So anyway, enough for today. Day 2, keeping it straight. I'll see you tomorrow, 11 p.m. Eastern. Till then, stay on the grind. This is the GRZY.